me? Can you hear me? There we got some sound.
I can hear you in my head. I can hear myself.
There you go. I'll turn my microphone a little bit closer. We are live. It should kick over. There we are.
There it is.
My face all fluffy and stuff. It's covered up. Hey, everybody. Doug Fowler here from Pulaski Talks. Welcome to the show. We got Nick Pappas back in the house. Thank you so much for joining us back again, Nick.
Of course.
It's been a busy campaign. I can tell you that for sure. But first, before we get started, thanks to all our sponsors. We got to kick off to Peru Law Office for being our gold sponsor. All the 3 of the 5 candidates have sponsored the show. Nick, Stacy, and Brian have sponsored the show. Ball Silver sponsors. Turf Tacklers Lawn Care, and A to Z Extermination. So thank you all for sponsoring the show, making this possible. So what have you been up to? Let me guess. Campaigning.
That and working. I don't get a lot of time, so the evenings and weekends are consumed.
Oh, I can imagine. I just, it's different. I think you brought it up in the past that, some of the candidates, I'm sure, have a lot more other free time than some others, and there's probably a benefit you don't have.
Yeah, there's 2 of us that do it full time.
Right.
And I work full time with one agency, part time with another agency, on call technically once a month, almost like the Army Reserves for deputy coroner.
Right.
Under Roger Graves, which I really enjoy. He's a great boss to work for. So
that's good. Yeah. That's a suck job. I'm sorry, but
it is. But at the end of the day, I was kind of thrown to the wolves. They asked, "Hey, do you want to do it?" Now this was when Greitens was in and I was appointed.
Right.
So they were like, "Hey, would you do it?" And I was like, "Sure." I've got medical experts I can go to. That's why we have experts, and I'm confident in my capabilities for investigative techniques. We still good?
Yeah, I had the mute button on. I always forget to shut that damn thing.
Oh, so it was interesting because I was like, yes. And at the time, I didn't know Roger real well. There was other applicants there. And then I got appointed, and it was literally, I walk in, swear in, here's you a box of case files, here's some body bags, go do good things. I didn't have nothing. I didn't have an office, a phone, nothing. I used my Jeep at the time. And then the commissioners at the time got me an office, got me a fax, phone, duty phone, over time. It didn't just happen overnight, but they worked really well to get it built back up. And then Rogers continued that. But the end game is it's really nice when you can tell a family really what happened.
Sure.
And say, well, it may not be the answer you want to hear, but it is what what happened.
It's factual.
Yeah, and it brings some closure, but nobody likes to lose a loved one at all.
So one of the topics I've been scouring the net, and I watched the net, the social media or the media.
Yeah, I know the drill. So what did you find this time?
Well, it seems like it'd be a popular question. I think not just for you, but for the other candidates. Talks about background, religious background, faith, whatever. Yeah, I know. I don't get it. I don't get the question, but it's popped up, and some people even accuse me of being an atheist, which is, I say, well, maybe I am, maybe I'm not, but that's another business. But you're running for office, maybe you want to put something out there.
Okay, well, first of all, the office isn't based on religion; it's based on the people. So we take care of you regardless of who you are, what you are, who you love, don't love. That's irrelevant. However, I'm a Catholic, so I hope everybody was sitting down when I said that. And
you did hear the intake of breath?
Yes, I did. It kind of sucked through. Okay, that wasn't a question. It was a comment somebody made on your screen there. Caught me out.
Facts are what we want. Thank you so much, Dana.
Okay, so
Dana, sorry.
I think it's Dana, if I remember right. So I was actually family started out as Greek Orthodox. At some point, they went to the Catholic Church. Well, before I was born, was kind of raised up through a Catholic church in Independence. Just stayed Catholic. I won't say I'm the best Catholic on the planet. A lot of people say, well, have you found a church to call home? The answer is no. Mm-hmm. And then to say, well, I'm going to join a church before election, that's not me. That's, I'm not going to join for a vote. That's not why you're in a church. So that was kind of out for me to do something like that. So yes, I'm a Catholic and a Christian. No, I don't have a local church. So I don't know much else to say about that topic.
And I hope that's satisfactory because, You know, I grew up Catholic the same way, and not that it matters. I kind of taught myself out of the stuff, and I leave it alone. It's kind of like each their own, your own flavors. You know,
Yeah.
have it your way, and just to each his own.
I don't want to drift too far off. I don't know what else you got planned. I'm almost wondering, kind of. It's always a crapshoot when you come in here with you. But the reality is when we go out, and I'm pretty sure the other candidates would say the same, we respond. It doesn't matter. I'm not asking you if you're an atheist or
Right.
who you love or anything of that nature. It's what's the problem? Can we help? So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I look at
And
it.
I would hope that all the other candidates and everybody serving with the Blues like that today.
Yeah.
I just can't fathom a scenario where you're checking somebody's dog tags for the religious preferences. Oh, I'm not helping you.
Yeah.
You know, I just can't fathom it. Another question's come up.
No,
I was watching one of your competitors, or what you call it, your
my opposition.
the opposition. Yeah, was
Fellow
on
candidate.
last night, Q&A last night, and the question popped up, not by me. It was whether he was or was not an SRO or working another capacity with the local school district, and he said he was an SRO and the some other position. But as I recall, there are certain qualifications to be an SRO, the real or let's say a legalized appointed SRO. And you being a former police chief and working with other agencies, may be able to add some.
I'm going to go off of memory.
Okay.
Some of the statutes may have changed over time from when I wrote well-prepared an MOU between an agency and a school district. It was like 162 in the RSMO, I think, 162, 165, somewhere in there. 11 CSR or 17 CSR. One of those two covers school protection officers,
Right.
which has to have like over 100 and something hours of training, and it's governed, use of force, legal aspects, and there's a whole laundry list in that Code of State regulations for those. SROs commission in the district in which they serve.
Mm-hmm.
So if I work, actually, I believe the statute says they have to, there's a MOU in place between both agencies. So if you work in a city.
Let's say I'm going to be an SRO in Waynesville, Missouri.
Yeah, so there's typically, I believe the statute says there will be an MOU between the school district and the municipal police department and the sheriff's office.
Two
that covers
MOUs.
Yeah, no, one. It
One
can
or the
cover,
other. Okay,
yeah.
I got you. Okay.
And I believe they will split it because it's two different agencies. The district I worked in was one agency at the time.
Right.
And that, again, I'd have to look back in that statute because that may have changed since then. And I wanted to say it used to say one or the other, but don't quote me on that. I'd actually have to pour back into that statute. So you're going to be commissioned in the jurisdiction in which you're an SRO.
Okay.
You can be a school protection officer. It's different. It's actually an additional duty, voluntary. They can't tell you you're going to do it. You can volunteer. You do have the ability to detain students if you had to.
Mm-hmm.
However, there's only a certain amount of time you can hold them. You have to release them to an SRO, which is a licensed peace officer.
Right.
And there's a whole laundry list of things that you have to do for that. So, yeah, I mean, you'd actually have to look at it, see what the others have, without delving into it.
Let me ask you this, a blunt question. If I say I'm an SRO, does that make it so? Don't I have to be qualified?
You have to be qualified, and you would probably have to have a commission in that district and the MOU. And here's the catch-all, though, and this is where it gets sticky. And matter of fact, I was talking to somebody. I work outside in another county, so I was actually talking to somebody. I was like, well, you can get, and we weren't talking politics. We were talking another topic, and I was like, you can get a title.
Mm-hmm.
And never hold the position, or have the title and you not be qualified for it. So you got to kind of look at the totality of the circumstances in which it's governed.
And my concern was that when hearing this, and it was kind of shocking because of the last election cycle, I know a certain commission was pulled by the sheriff, and therefore I knew you had to be a commission, yada, yada, yada. But then again, the wordplay comes out, and somebody say, "Well, I'm an SRO," and kind of like a name only. It's just a SRO. They call me an SRO, and I'm known as an SRO, but I'm not really.
By definition, statutory guidelines.
Right.
Yeah, and that's possible. I don't,
Yeah.
without delving into it, man. It's hard telling, but
I haven't dug into it that hard, but it's definitely curiosity struck with me, especially during the election cycle and campaign. You would think that you want everything on the table, because if I'm going to ask you, if you say you're an OC or whoever county police, you say, "Show me," I know you're going to show me.
And so even with post rosters, post rosters don't tell you when they get a commission. So honestly, unless you went to my boss and said, any of them said, "Well, when did he start?" A post commission, I believe it's 30 days. So you come, you apply at a PD, we get you hired over time. You know, you go to the council and they say, yeah, and then you swear in. You got 30 days, I believe, to add them to your post roster, right? That's where that's where the state says, okay, you belong to, you know, whatever agency you work for.
Right.
So
it becomes quasi-official.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're still working, you're commissioned, you know, because it's done online.
Right.
Those rosters are actually public. You can go online, you can query the agency identifier. So like everything in this county is MO085, and it's sheriff's all zeros, and it's like 0100, 200, 300, 400, and I don't remember the other ones.
So it is public.
Oh, yeah, very.
I thought so, because last time I looked, I thought I went and got it.
Very. Yeah, you can look it up. Anybody can look it up.
Okay.
And so that's all public. If you, because I know somebody already actually went to post online, and they'll tell you, yes, they're commissioned, and they're commissioned in these agencies.
Right. Right.
And that's what Post will release. Yes, you have a valid peace officer license, and they are commissioned in this agency. So that's all you're going to get out of them.
And you can be commissioned more than one agency?
Yes. Okay. That depends on the agency.
Yeah.
So a lot of agencies don't allow dual commissions. So, which, you know, where you work, like I work part-time for one locally and full-time for another. So it depends on the policies of that agency, or both agencies, actually, if you can hold dual commissions.
Gotcha.
So that's just, depends on the bosses.
I'm switching gears. So we're still talking about the show that was on last night by one of your competitors, the competition, or the what was the word you used?
Competitor, I guess. Fellow candidate, however you want to word it.
Esteemed colleague, or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. But in this day and age, we'll just say colleague.
Okay.
And I actually posed a question as Pulaski Talks. I was listening in about the educational background. And now it's my opinion. This is very important. What's your opinion on education, formalized education after high school development, stuff like that?
How are you talking, like college?
Exactly, college, master's. I know you know everybody knows, or at least I do, that you've got plenty of college, but maybe you could your opinion on the importance of it.
So I think anytime you get into a leadership role. Right. So I progressed through my career. I didn't just jump into it, and next thing you know, I'm a boss. It was not never seems to ever come easy for me, but every position I ever had required additional education, even in the military. You want to progress in rank, you know, you want to move up to W3,
sure.
You know, more education. And so I think education in the right field, for one, it teaches you really good research. And I'm just using this as an example. It's not all encompassing. You know, I have and I'm using my own education. So I have an associate degree in law enforcement, which was almost like an academy, sort of, and a bachelor's and master's in criminal justice. And I have one in environmental management, which is half environmental law and environmental science. Actually, one of your sponsors was actually one of the teachers.
I knew he was.
So that was a long time ago. But the education gives you the research background, especially in criminal justice, why we have it, the different techniques that have been used, and that type of thing. It kind of makes you a well-rounded person. And also, there's a lot of things in there, you know, when you start, if you aren't used to talking to groups, you know, it will break you in break you in rather well
Sure.
because you're having to pitch whatever your thesis is, whatever whatever you are, you research. So your writing capabilities, and in today's day and age, your ability to write is critical. Grants, which I've successfully written, even letters to other chiefs, sheriffs, legislatures, whatever, the ability to articulate what you're saying.
To the media.
Yeah, to the media.
Yeah, every
especially the media, because we can see what's happening on a national level, so it can get really twisted. So,
Sure.
But it definitely enhances your research capabilities and your educational background. It makes you, I believe, more rounded
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to that.
Well, I do too, and it's one of the things I picked up over the years and the various educational endeavors I took under was that one, it taught you how to dig in to the books, to the research. Two is, they always say if you can't do, teach, but if you can do it, you do it. And then that helps you apply that level of research and academia, how to go about searching for solutions versus just, based on my first and sometimes second, third hand experience. It opens you to a much wider resource base.
So the education plays a part too when you look at one, I don't remember if it was last time or time before, we were talking about training,
right?
In the, deputies and that type of thing. So it gives you that background, what do the deputies need or any agency? It teaches you management. It gives you the basics. Everything comes with experience. Mm-hmm. So you can have a PhD, and for anybody that's got a PhD, don't take this out as a knock, but I actually watched one university student got PhD in forensic science, never worked in the field, and is teaching with no experience.
Yeah.
And the experience is really what makes it, along with the education, of course, being able to apply it. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's like the transition between knowledge and wisdom, being able to apply the knowledge into some kind of tacit and explicit utility. What about professional development? Now, I don't know what kind of in the military. Both you and I in the military, we had ample opportunities for professional development. Matter of fact, if you didn't go to it, you're done.
You're done.
But
today's no different.
What about in the civilian sector of the law enforcement?
So,
and understand tight budgets and everything else.
Yeah, there's a lot of training you can get for free. It may not be always the best, but every little bit helps. Something it's like getting a single wrench for a toolbox type of situation. But rank should not be based just because you've been there a year. How have you progressed? What professional education? So if you're wanting to move up from slick sleeve, no rank to corporal, what do we need to do to get you to corporal? What education, what training? Right. So, there should be some career progression in there, and that's critical. Rank structure is fine, but if you don't have the career progression chart to match that, then we're not it.
I'm going to give you a second to read that. I'm reading it. I'm reading your poem. Thanks, Rich, for the answer here.
Okay, I will. It says see more.
What are your thoughts on the Good Samaritan law? If you became sheriff, will you ensure that every case is thoroughly investigated? And do you think these deaths should be investigated as drug-induced homicide?
Yes. And here's why. They actually have advanced training for drug overdose deaths. Right. Now, the Good Sam is a tool, and I think it has helped a great many survive.
I don't know what it is.
Basically, a long time ago, it used to be we would get a call. This is when I was still with Pulaski. You get a call of a guy in a ditch because they OD'd.
Right.
And what would we do? We'd show up. Oh, you got dope on you and you called? You're going to jail.
Right.
Good Sam says no. They called, no arrest. We save the person, right? Good tool. And has definitely had some impact. I can't tell you I don't have the numbers. I can tell you deaths are staying consistent, but there's a lot of information that can be gleaned out of doing an investigation. And I'm telling you, just because it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, doesn't mean it's a duck.
Sure.
So all deaths, and this is the way I was taught in the Army and CID, and I've continued that. All deaths are worked as a homicide until proven otherwise.
Wow.
That doesn't mean we're going to go out and hook everybody up,
Sure,
but we can't just turn a blind eye.
Right.
You know, we have to look at it, because how do you know? What happens if you got a guy that does nothing but smoke marijuana? Everybody and a brother says all he does is smoke marijuana, and next thing you know, he's OD'd from fentanyl and meth.
Right.
I picked that one. That's common.
Sure.
So, yes, we need to be looking way deeper. Not only that, there's information to be gleaned from that.
Sure.
You know, not only that, but the person that called may need help. We need to get them help too. So, that's kind of where I stand with that.
Okay.
I've done investigation my whole career, and that's the way we were taught. You know, you were in the Army for a long time as well. CID lived by a thing, thoroughness of investigation. You didn't leave a stone unturned. I don't care if it was a daggone pebble in the sand. Let me tell you. And you went through inspections that was painful. We'll just put it that way.
I can imagine.
You had outsiders come in and they just picked your cases apart to see, did you leave a stone unturned? Sometimes our times here on the civilian sector, and I'm telling you, I do the job day in, day out. You get a heavy caseload, man, you're scrambling to try and help everyone. We're human. We may miss something. And I'm telling you, I'll go to a road guy and say, hey man, what do you think? Did I miss something? You know, I mean, so
the second set of eyes can't hurt.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with having a second set of eyes, no matter who it is. So, I don't know if it looks like it. I take it what you read was below the Seymour.
That's right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah, that's
okay.
Let me fix that for you.
Yeah, that's what I said. It just said Seymour. I couldn't see the rest of it. And you read it to me, so it's all good.
Okay, let me go and expand that so everybody else can see it.
Yeah.
There you go. I'll let you read that if you want. But it looks like you answered it. Thank you so much.
Hold on. I think I answered that for her. If not, she can hit me up again on there.
You're available.
Yeah. Well, she can.
Oh yeah. You can call me up too.
Yeah.
Numbers at the bottom of the screen.
Yep. You can throw another question in there. Lord only knows, Doug. You never know what's going to come out when you come in this place.
You're
so
right, and it's for all to see.
Yeah.
No hiding there. I don't have no friends here calling in questions for you because I don't think I've ever met you, Dania. No. So not yet. Now, Rich is a buddy of mine. He's up in Alaska, but he watches every show and he's a faithful listener. Thanks so much, Rich. Going back to what we were talking about education. Now, training. How long was your CID training?
That's a long time ago, man.
I'm just saying.
Like 3.5, 4 months, I think.
Yeah, that's not including warrant officer training.
No, that wasn't warrant officer training. No. And then you had like, what else did I have to go through?
Your prior enlisted,
SAC Corps, yeah. I was an E6 when I went to walk school, warrant officer candidate school. 6 years of my life I'll never get back. Worse than basic training.
Well, I went through drill sergeant school, and I remember the first thing they come out the doors and they treat you like privates. I didn't know that. Nobody told me that.
If there's something below private, that's where you were at when the black hats came out in walk school. I'll tell you, it was an eye-opening experience. Let me tell you,
earth-shattering to me. I mean, I was getting chewed out by another E6, nose to nose. It made me feel like a private. Yes, drill sergeant. He's the same rank as me, but he's chewing me out.
Yeah, but you had like the special agent charge course, and that teaches you to look at it from a different perspective. You know, you're running a whole office. Not so much the budget, but you had to manage your manpower, your cases. Everything was on the clock. You know, you were timed on everything. How fast you had to report something, a serious incident, I believe they called it an SSI, serious sensitive incident. Everything was on the clock. How fast you got people interviewed. So you're constantly reviewing cases, managing people, making sure, if they had to go elsewhere to interview somebody, they got the means to do so. It was, you're juggling manpower constantly. Yeah. That didn't include all the additional Army programs we had, so.
See, I look at it in this whole election cycle, like the last election, you guys are applying for a job. And I'm looking at all your resumes and me as a voter. And so, as a former senior leader in the Army, the civilian side, always look who's got the one step above the other guy. You line up the resumes, take out the face and the names, and say this guy has or this girl has X. This guy does not have X. In your case, you've got college. Some of the competitors do not have college. You have college that's relevant to the job application, that's relevant to what your job that you're seeking. And while some others do not have college, they may not have degrees. So this is kind of the way I look at it. And I was actually I'm thinking about how to format. You guys give me your resumes, and I put a show where I talk with just the audience, say, let's line the resumes up side by side.
Yeah.
And who is the best qualified person? I think to me, that's what it comes down to. That's the person that we should be hiring, not the one that looks the best on Facebook, because you ain't got a chance there.
I think if we come on here, give people enough chance to see it and be able to plan for it. I know they watch it afterwards,
Yeah.
but the live interactions, where the rubber meets the road, and we can talk to them. Well, figuratively speaking, unless they call in, but plan for it. Sure,
Yeah.
I'm up.
I'll try. I have something scheduled for the 8th. I'm waiting on the responses. So
I think I said yes on that one too.
well,
Is that a weekend?
Yes, it's Saturday.
Hold on a minute. We got another one.
Yeah, it's expand it for you. I'll let you read that.
So that's more of a comment, but I'm going to kind of caveat that. This is where the throughput and the feedback to the families are critical. Look, this is what we've done. This is where we're at.
Right.
Period. So the feedback is critical. I think I actually know the case she's talking about too. I don't know if I was the one who responded to it though, but I'm pretty sure I'm familiar with it. But the feedback to the family.
Mm-hmm.
So even my boss, is constantly like, have you talked to him? Have you talked to him? When I'm dealing with a victim, whether it's a theft, whatever it is, they get a business card, they got my work cell, and trust me, they use it. Emails, I give them feedback, but when you carry a caseload that's heavy,
Mm-hmm.
you have additional duties, cases pop up, it's a constant juggle. But that constant feedback, families need to know, hey, we're not done,
Mm-hmm.
And hot leads are hot leads. And, if you got to follow up on quick, then something else is going to get pushed back. You go follow that one, get back to it. But that feedback to the families is absolutely critical.
I would think so. And just trying to keep abreast of what's going on. Understand you can't be every single minute of the day update, providing every breath, but just having some kind of communications outlet for the families to be able to at least know what's going on.
That was the one thing the Army. So towards the end of my career, they started I'm trying to remember what it was, a CLO, a casualty liaison officer. And that was the SAC. So I got the glorious privilege of carrying that out. And, you learn real quick and in a hurry, cultural differences, because you're dealing with, like Fort Wood, you got multiple different nations training there, and we do get deaths. So you learn how to talk to families, and the importance of that. Because what happens when somebody dies in the military? It's always a conspiracy, right?
Sure.
And sometimes it's not, and that's what, you sit down and you talk to families. A lot of times it's on the phone, because not a lot of families, except immediate family, wife, husband, whatever. But when you're talking mom and dad, they're probably not local. So being able to project that over the phone is really, really critical, and sometimes very difficult. But that feedback to the families is critical. And that kind of falls into that transparency that
Sure.
I've harped on for many, many moons now.
I think I've referred to this TV series, The Wire. But you always see the board of the cases that are open, and it's almost like you probably can't have something like that on no Facebook page, but every investigator would be hammered with questions from everybody, the public and everybody else. How many signs have you bought?
A lot. So everybody's like, man, this is a race to put signs up. Look, I work full time.
Yeah.
Another candidate works full time. So you can tell the two candidates that work full time, campaigning is not a full time job. So this is the way I look at it. Could I take time off to do more? Probably. But guess what? Cases aren't getting done, which means the people that I'm supposed to be serving aren't getting served. Right. And I'm a little bit different. But you see where I'm at now? Sure. So I'll work it until I fall asleep, get up, do it all over again, 7 days a week.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. It's good. You get out and talk to a lot of people. And I'd rather them be honest, hey, I'm going to support so-and-so. Okay, that's cool. I respect that. You know, I was talking to another candidate. We were kind of chuckling about it. And he goes, man, you know, he goes, I talk to a lot of people. They say you're kind of abrasive. I was like, well, man, you know what? I talk to people. They say you're abrasive. So I guess we both can be abrasive. It's not that I'm abrasive. I feel I'm a little more firm. I'm going to tell you what you need to know, not necessarily what you want to hear. Mm-hmm. You know, I can tell you whatever you want to hear. Hey, man, I'll buy you a Maserati. You vote for me and then not do it. What I'm saying is there's things we can do and cannot do. And that's what's important. And I'm not going to sit here and make a bunch of broken promises. You get one promise, one guarantee, and everybody's like, man, you should never do that. You'll get maximum effort every day I carry the badge, unless I kick the bucket. Yeah. You know, and honest effort. If I make a mistake, I'll own it and fix it. Right. You know, I'm human. Sure. We all the candidates are human. We're all going to make mistakes, mm-hmm. regardless of who wins. But, you know, to campaign takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. So, you know, what was it? Last week we got that real bad rainstorm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was out in the storm putting up signs. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but, you know, you got to use what time you get. Right. So, and the rain did make the ground pretty soft. So,
and I can't imagine what it was like before social media campaigning. I mean, JT Roberts knows and JB King and how they campaign. It must be just literally door to door slugging it out.
So, For a sheriff that's already in office, right? Well, I don't want to say it's a little bit easier, but it's easier. And here's why. Think about it. For one, they've already held the office, so everybody is at least familiar with them, right? Right. They've spent the last term campaigning, so they're not necessarily running the road and doing everything else. A lot of what they can do, especially nowadays, right? We got MDTs. Heck, man, sheriff can work from a flipping truck. Right. So it is a world of difference. Mm-hmm. And not only that, but you got a whole crew behind you running the show. Right. You know, and while you're taking care of all the administrative stuff. So a little easier to juggle versus trying to actually work and campaign. So makes a big difference. And I'm a boots on the ground type of guy. So.
Yeah, I think you'd almost have to be because you got a lot, 15,000 square miles of roads to cover. How many?
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Oh, that was me. Oh, sorry, I hit a button. Now you're clear.
Oh, okay. Oh, I saw that message. Yeah. I saw it. Okay. She answered it for me. So.
What else you want to talk about? I got my 3 things out of the way.
I thought you had something else, too. Didn't you have something else?
We talked SRO.
Okay.
Signs. We talked about the roundtable discussion scheduled for next week. Right now, I have not. Nick's the only one that's confirmed attending. And what the intent with that is, if Brian or Stacy or Rex or Mr. Reed is listening, is that we sit around the table and talk shop.
Yep.
Politics, wherever you want to talk about, but it wouldn't be a debate.
Give the people enough time. Make sure it gets out there and let them develop questions. Let's fire the heat rounds and just get it out.
Let's just get it out, and let's not wait for the party stuff. I think happens July, but that's usually pretty. I'm sorry, I'll leave that alone. But.
Yeah, the Republican headquarters opens Saturday. Yeah. Is that the first, right? Saturday. Yeah. Yeah, so down there, most people will bring flyers, business cards, candidates, that is, signs, that type of thing. So people can swing by there and get literature, see what all the candidates are about. And then I can't remember the date for the Republican one, the July 7th or 8th. I can't remember.
I remember it's already scheduled because I was going to rent the.
I'd have to check my calendar to see. I plugged it in. So, but yeah, I say, have a round table. Whoever wants to show up, and let's duke it out. We're going to get some coffee though, man.
Oh, definitely.
Can I mention companies' names without getting in trouble? You think?
Yeah.
I stopped by a little shop. She's a sponsor, or used to be Eclectic.
Oh, eclectic, yeah.
Yeah, so she had that combat coffee in there. I bought some. It was actually really good. I love my coffee, so yeah, it was really good.
Well, I've been meaning to meet him at the farmers market. My wife goes down there and sees him all the time.
Yeah, I haven't met him personally, but I was like, man, I've been looking at this. I'm going to try it. It was actually really good coffee. So
I am a coffee snob.
Yeah.
We got a grinder upstairs, and I just
she ground it for Bob down there ground it for me, and I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, that's really good coffee. So I don't know if I'm supposed to plug him. I'm not getting anything in return.
No,
I just wanted
right.
to say, hey, that was a really good coffee.
They're a former sponsor, and we always appreciate current former sponsors. But unless the crowd's got any more questions for Nick, anybody out there? We got a couple of people watching.
Yeah, we'll be back on probably next week.
We'll be back next week, and we'll hit it up again.
Once you figure out what day, so that fits the calendar.
Plan Thursday.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'll have to check the calendar, see what work's doing. But I think the big thing is people still need to plug away and look at the qualifications. So I love when people say, well, everybody's qualified to be sheriff. Statute says qualifications, but when it's actually, are you eligible to file for sheriff?
Right.
Doesn't make you qualified. So, if you never led anybody, never managed anything really, you want to take over an agency, you might want to have some background to back it.
I without showing my cards or my voice, my opinion on anything, I got to agree with you. I can't imagine just showing up and not doing the job for years and years and years or whatever it is, and then just thinking I can take over. Because the problem with that is the people there are relying upon you or whoever the winner is to be able to show up and do their job. I don't think you can't learn on the fly with the sheriff. Now, I've never been one, so I don't know.
None of us are going to know all the answers,
exactly.
man. It not going to happen. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So with that being said, you got to be able to learn. But here's the thing. The nuts and bolts, you need to have a grasp on. And how are you going to know right from wrong if you haven't done the job for a while?
Yeah.
I'm talking everything from evidence to crime scenes to road to jail, So I still go in jail, still do work in the jail. Not all the time. Whenever the boss says, hey, we need you.
Yeah.
So, which seems to be quite often sometimes, but it's all good. But
that's a good comment right there.
What's it say? I can't see without my glasses.
Well, you gotta get some.
Okay, I got it.
Not just do their job, but do a job right.
Actually, we brought that up. I don't know if it was last interview, one before, but we talked about giving them the ability to do it. So if you haven't done it, how do you going to know right from wrong? That's my point.
Right.
And just for the record, I don't consider myself abrasive. I'm just candid. So I will stand my ground.
I think in the capacity of sheriff that I would appreciate somebody being candid and blunt, maybe a little terse sometimes rather than being flowery and fluffy.
I'm definitely not flowery and fluffy, but I respect people's decisions too. Sure. So if you like another candidate, I respect that.
Yeah.
But let's pick the right candidate. Of course, I'm running, so I feel it's me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have filed. But decisions are critical. And how long are we going to continue to face the same thing we're facing now? It's time for a change. And I'm not talking drastic. We can get the people rolling in the right direction, our sheriff's department, given the right guidance, the right management, and a person that has it. And I'll bring it to the table. Mm-hmm. And if I can't, I'll move. Yeah. I'll stand by it. And that's not arrogance. Excuse me. I'm just confident in my capabilities. And I'm not bashful. I'm one of those guys, if I don't know, there's 114 counties in this state. There's 114 sheriffs. I will find the right answer. So
use your vote wisely.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, I don't want to speak out of turn. You've done all the other interviews. I don't typically watch them. But I do know at least one other candidate, actually maybe two, that have absolutely said, watch the videos, talk to the candidates, and make that informed decision. And if something's not clear, ask.
Oh, sure. Well, and that was the whole reason I built this little show up, was that to provide a venue for the voters to interact with the candidates. All too often, you only got to meet them on the Facebook page and side of the road, and every once in a while at the club meeting.
And there's I kind of understand the comment, and I'm sure she'll correct me if I'm incorrect. Don't vote just because they're a friend. I actually told somebody last week, I was like, look, if my kid was a cop right now with 2 years on the road and he ran for sheriff, I'd say absolutely not. No, what? So you got 2 years on the road, you want to be sheriff?
Right.
You got a couple years, you want to be a chief of police? Wait till you're in the hot seat.
I just can't fathom somebody thinking they just show up and do the job.
Yeah. And there's a lot more to it. We always think, well, I've been a cop for 5 years. I'm ready to be chief. What have you done to prepare yourself? It's not that easy. It's an enjoyable job when you can make that difference, but it's not that easy. There's a lot of things that come to it, more than just running a road. Can you prioritize things correctly? Do you understand how to apply a budget? Because the budget has to fit. Everything's based on the needs of the community, right? Mm-hmm. With the sheriff's department, you got the jail and the courts, so you're really balancing all that. If you don't know, how are you going to know how to apply that funding? What funding to go after, and what's a priority? Because every priority you have should be meeting the needs of that community.
Sure.
And that's really what it is. Because at the end of the day, who we serve, the public.
That's right. And three priorities.
Yeah. And the jail is no different. They're there. The inmates are there because they broke a law, but they're still human. They still have rights, and they still have families.
Sure.
So we got to do the job right. We're obligated to provide them a safe place. We need to be meeting that standard. So
I can't agree with that statement more.
I think actually you made that comment. So,
yeah.
But no, I was expecting more from you, but okay, we're good.
We're kind of good.
Well, give them a week. So you're saying next
Thursday.
I'll check my calendar in a minute. So next Thursday, okay, give people a week to fire it up and see what else we want to answer. I'm good with, what day did you say?
Next Thursday.
No. Your debate was Saturday? Next Saturday?
Next week.
Have you already keyed up the other guys?
Yeah, I've invited them.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm surprised, usually.
Yeah, nobody's responded yet, so.
Kind of surprised.
Confirmation.
I know at least two of them are usually game.
Well, yeah, that's what I figured as well.
So it'd be a good time.
Thursday's the 6th for You're By Yourself, and then we'll plan on the 8th, which is Saturday.
Yeah, what time
for the group huddle is 6 p.m.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see an issue with that. For the record, I'll be on call, so if the bat phone rings, you gotta go. So.
Well, the air conditioner's on, so that means it's time to close it off.
Yeah, because you can't squat.
Well, thank everybody for joining us today. Thank you so much for the questions. Those that are following online and those that are listening later, you can watch this on Facebook Live or on our YouTube channel or on Twitter. And if you have questions for Nick, make sure you hit him up on either this episode or hit him on his Facebook page. He'll be sure to answer you back, as are all the candidates. So challenge everything. With that, see you, everybody. Hit the transition.